Welcome to Powerful Women Revealed. My guest today is Nancy O'Keefe, and she is the founder of Women's Leadership U, as well as SimpleSmallBusinessSolutions.com, and she's also the author of Values-Based Choices. I hope you enjoy the show, and without further ado, here is yet another Powerful Woman Revealed. Welcome to Powerful Women Revealed. I'm your host, Nicole Perry, and today we're talking all about career. And my guest is, she has over 30 years experience in the business world, inside corporate as well as outside of corporate. She has built businesses that have both exceeded her expectations as well as helped support many working mothers. Her latest book is called Values-Based Choices. And her new mission is to provide a platform for women who want to become leaders. She is an empowering businesswoman. She is a good friend. She's very smart and savvy and has a great sense of humor too. Nancy O'Keefe, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Nicole. It's great to be here.
Thank you for being here. I'm very excited. We've done interviews several times together, so this is really easy for both of us, I hope. And, can you give us just a brief overview of the 30 years that you've had your experience?
Well, I started out as a receptionist. High school education, very little skills, a little typing, a little shorthand, which nobody uses anymore.
And I know, that's too bad, isn't it?
Over the years, I was able to go back to school and get my degree and then on for my master's degree. And I've had great careers in technology, in the insurance industry. I've also had several of my own businesses. So it's been a wild ride, I guess I would say.
A lot of experience you've had, though.
A lot of experience, yeah.
Okay.
Of course, I started when I was about 12.
Yeah, exactly. Me too. So, why do you believe you're basically the founder of Women's Leadership U, and why do you believe that we need more leaders in our society today, especially women?
Well, 2 years ago, I went to the Mass Conference for Women, and one of the keynote speakers was Deepak Chopra.
Oh, I missed that one.
He was fantastic, and he basically got up on stage and just spoke to the 10,000 women that were in the room about how women were just needed in the world. The world is a very aggressive, angry, somewhat unethical place.
Can be, not always is.
But women bring natural compassion, natural nurturing. They like to work in a collaborative environment. They enjoy a sense of community, and we really need more of that in the world. So as I was writing my book about leadership, I started to think about it, and we've always talked about the glass ceiling and how women haven't made the kind of progress that they had hoped to make in their career, and I thought, gee, this is a prime opportunity for women to really have a chance to step up and show their stuff.
Now, today, in this era, in this day and age, is a prime opportunity.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Because there's a phenomenon about to happen. Because the baby boomers, such a large portion of our population, not only in our country but in the world, representing about 25%, they're exiting the workforce. And although we talk about them wanting to stay in the workforce longer because of retirement issues, not wanting to retire or finding that it costs more to retire than they anticipated, most of them are going to have to exit the workforce soon. And what's that going to do for the rest of the people that are working? It's going to provide lots of opportunity for people to step up into positions that are currently being held by senior people.
Now, what are some of the, the Women's Leadership U, I'm very excited about. What are some of the 20 core competencies that aid women in business and leadership? What are some of those skills?
They're really advanced business skills and leadership skills that anyone can benefit from in any aspect of their career. And, we need leaders everywhere. We need them in the community, we need them in the school systems, we need them everywhere. So we're focusing on 4 areas of leadership: personal leadership, people leadership, project leadership, and organizational leadership. And there'll be core competencies represented in each of those areas. And it's things like advanced communication skills, both written and oral, presentation skills, really understanding how to put a presentation together and how to deliver it with confidence. We'll be talking about working with people, building teams, how to hire for fit, so you have the right people on your team, so you have a good blend of skills so that you can really move the project or whatever you're doing forward with the right skill sets. We'll be talking about negotiation and conflict management, which is always necessary when you're working with people. Projects, how to run a project, how to create an action plan, how to motivate people. We know the cycle of projects is everybody starts out really excited, and about halfway through, enthusiasm starts to wane because you know, it's a big deal, it's a big undertaking, and you have to know how to really keep people motivated and get the project across the finish line. It's all about just really knowing how to take ownership and leadership in a lot of areas. Organizationally, we'll be talking about human resources, we'll be talking about political savvy, looking out on the horizon and understanding how to recognize opportunities and capitalize on them. So some really great skills that women can use pretty much anywhere, whether they're a career-focused person in a corporate environment, whether they want to be a leader in their community or in politics, or whether they want to start their own business. They're skills that are transferable really in all walks of life.
So you're already taking this to a level far beyond what I've imagined this interview could be, so I'm very excited already. How are many of us, or so many of us, lacking in that self-confidence that ultimately we just end up spending our lives just getting by?
You know, that's a great question. It's amazing to me what self-talk can do to sabotage our efforts. And there's a lot of negativity out there. It's really all about how you think about things and how you allow your thoughts to be translated into your words and actions. And if you have a little self-doubt, if you allow yourself to be zapped by what other people say, or what other people are doing, or your fear of competition, or there's just so many things we can be afraid of. Criticism, what other people will think, will it work, will I fail, will I succeed? There's just, you know, and it's just mind-boggling sometimes, and it puts you in a position of being very doubtful. Can I do it? Should I do it? Will it flop? And I think people get stopped by that. Yeah. So it's really a matter of just being very, very confident in your abilities, knowing your stuff. I mean, that's really the recipe for being confident. You have to know your stuff cold, whatever that is. And if you know it cold and you believe in it, then it really doesn't matter what anyone else says. You get it out there and you try it. Some things are going to succeed and some things are going to fail, and that's just the way of the world. Yeah. Yeah, and so, you know, why do you believe so many people are afraid of the failure and the criticism? And, you know, it really stops them from fulfilling their dreams, Absolutely. Right? Well, we all want to be liked, number one. And rejection's huge. And I think women have more of a need to be liked and accepted than perhaps their male counterparts do. So, you know, nobody wants to be the focus of criticism, but it's very difficult to be in a position where you feel like people don't like you, aren't buying into what you are thinking. There's no sense of belonging when that happens, and that's a very difficult thing because, again, women are all about community. And if they don't feel like they belong in their community, then that can be a tough pill to swallow. Now, I read somewhere on your Women's Leadership U website that you say we all have a deep wellspring of confidence, that we just need a few tools to, you know, help us snap into it. So, you know, why do you believe we all have that deep wellspring? Well, I'm just like everybody else, probably less confident in some ways than others, and yet I've tapped into that well, and I was able to do some pretty amazing things just because I believed in myself and I had the skills. I was confident that I had the know-how. So I've been very fortunate in my career to have experiences that proved to me that if you are somebody who knows your stuff and you believe in what you're doing, really believe it, to the point where you have a huge commitment toward making it happen, then, you know, the sky's the limit, really.
And you're so passionate and so strong. I mean, where there's a will, there's a way. And if you're so strong and passionate about what you're doing, you really, you know, it's your duty almost, right?
Is.
Don't you feel that way?
It is. It is your duty. And actually, it's funny you should use that word, because as I was researching my book and writing it, I really did, you know, found that I had a strong sense of wanting to help women. And it's actually something that's been brewing in my back of my mind for quite some time, and writing the book kind of brought it to the forefront. After I finished the book and I read it, I thought to myself, wow, this doesn't really have a whole lot to do with my business. And what it turned out to be was just kind of a call to action, really talking about, hey, you know, there's a lot of opportunities to change things, to make things better. Let's take advantage of those. And it really speaks to how we can do that.
You ask a lot of questions, a lot of thought-provoking questions in that book.
I raise a lot of questions. I don't answer many of them, but the answers are for people to find out for themselves.
There you go.
Right.
We all have the answers within ourselves, right?
Absolutely.
You can't provide those. So why are you so passionate about helping women in the workforce?
Well, I like to think of my generation. I didn't start when I was 12. I'm quite a bit older than that. I've actually retired once from one business.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
But,
and then you went back into
and
it
then
again.
You know what they say about type A personalities. We don't retire very well.
Yeah.
But, you know, I started at the bottom, and it was tough. I was one of the first generation of working mothers. We didn't want to do it. We did it because we had to. We had double-digit inflation, and we had gas lines and astronomical prices on things, and one salary just wasn't enough. And I left my kids on the bus stop and looked at them in the rear-view mirror, and it broke my heart that I had to do that. There were no cell phones in those days.
See, now that doesn't break my heart, because I love that yellow bus. but I hear what you're saying.
Yeah, and you know, the kid was there. They had a key around their neck.
Yeah.
No cell phones. You couldn't check on whether they got there. Thankfully, I think the world was a little bit safer place then.
Yeah.
But you know, crawling up through the ranks in companies I worked for, getting to a certain point, the whole equal pay for equal work, doing a lot of the work and then having others take the credit, you know, it's just disheartening. And there are so many very talented women out there who really care, who have a lot of passion, a lot of commitment, a lot of dedication. And I think we've gotten kind of a bum rap over the years as being people that, well, you know, you're only working till you get married, or you're only going to work till you have children, or whatever. And women, there are women that want careers. They're really
I'm one of them.
Yes.
I'm one of them.
And you know, it's not something you do to fill in the blanks in between being a wife and a mother. It's something that's fulfilling and rewarding, and you want to make a contribution in the world.
Yeah.
So I say, after having owned a couple of businesses and really recognizing that you make your own opportunity in life, and if you're sitting around waiting for opportunity to come along, you're going to wait a long time. You really have to get out there and make it happen for yourself.
Yeah.
So I'd like to be in a position to help women get the confidence, get the skills, recognize the opportunity, and then be able to put it into action. Nobody paved the way for us, the first round of women in the workforce, but you know, it has to be made easier, because we really need women to step up into leadership positions.
And you know what? You know, it's funny, because you are a very bright and smart woman that I am proud to have in my life. And you know, I'm a smart woman too, but I learn so much from other women.
Absolutely.
And there are a lot of women out there that need a little bit of, I think I just lost my microphone, that need a little, oh, did I lose my microphone? And we are back with Powerful Women Revealed. My guest is Nancy O'Keefe, and she is the founder of Women's Leadership U, which I love, the letter U for a university. And now you're starting to have different programs within the Women's Leadership U, and one of them is the Confident You program. Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, that's actually a webinar that we're running, and it's a way to introduce Women's Leadership U. Women's Leadership U is the core program. But one of the ways that we're introducing it to the public is to hold a series of free webinars that people can get on, and we'll talk about confidence, we'll talk about leadership in another one we're going to do later in the year. And what will happen, hopefully, is it will spark some interest, give people some good tips and some things they can start thinking about in terms of their own confidence and their leadership abilities. And then we'll have a conversation with them about whether or not Women's Leadership U is something that might be right for them.
Okay, so it's not necessarily going to be for everybody.
No.
And they have to go through a process.
There is a process. There's even an application, not a scary, daunting one, but
I read it. It's very simple.
we want women who really want to put this in action. We want, these groups are going to be small because they're going to be very interactive. There's going to be a lot of project work, a lot of discussion, and they need to be small groups. So we want to be sure that we have women that are going to really take this to the next level and be big contributors in the group and in the community.
Okay, so I love this statement that I read on your website: be seen, be heard, and be taken seriously, right? Be taken seriously. We want to be taken seriously. Now, why do you believe that we hold on, or we hold our weaknesses higher and in the forefront of our minds instead of our strengths?
I wish I had the answer to that question, because if I could bottle it up and sell it, I'd be a millionaire. But I did a primary research project as I was looking into developing this, and I did a survey and I sent it out to several hundred women in a certain age bracket with a certain level of education. And it was amazing what I learned. I learned that women don't feel seen, they don't feel heard, and they don't feel like there are any opportunities out there for them. They just feel like they get passed by. They don't get taken seriously. They're not serious contenders for what comes up. And these are general blanket statements. They're not true everywhere. But this was the result of the survey. And that actually, sparked some thought on my part, because I believe you make your own opportunities, as I've mentioned.
Yes.
And that is a skill I think people need to learn. So about being seen, be heard, and be taken seriously, well, you have to make that happen for yourself.
Yeah.
And that's part of what we're going to be teaching at Women's Leadership U.
Okay. All right. And how did you come up with the name?
It just came to me one day.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it just came to me one day. And this is the validation that you get when you do something like this. I went out to look for the URL, and it was available. So I thought, okay, this is it.
Love it, love it. Okay, love it. Let's talk about the shift again. You said that we're about to have a shift happen where in the next 15 years, all the baby boomers are going to be out of the workforce, leaving how many opportunities?
Plenty.
Yes.
Plenty. Because that represents 25% of the workforce. 25%
a quarter
of the workforce. Right. So this is a huge opportunity. Now, a lot of people look at this and say, oh my God, baby boomers are leaving. It's just going to really shake up the economy. Yes, it is, but in a good way. In every big shift anywhere, there's always opportunity, and that's what you have to look for. So who's going to fill all the positions? Many of these people are the people that are in senior management and leadership positions in companies, own their own businesses, are in high-level positions in academia or what have you. And we're going to need people that are not only willing to step into those positions, but are prepared.
And strong. And can handle it.
And can handle it. And that, when I look around, that's why I think Leadership U is so important, because we can prepare people. And when we take those skills and we teach them and really help them master them in the kind of environment we're setting up in this program, they'll be able to step into these positions and take advantage of the vacancies. And glass ceiling, that seems like it would pretty much eliminate the glass ceiling to me. I mean, there's going to be so much vacancy that we're going to be starving for the people to fill the vacancies. We're already seeing it in healthcare and in technology industries where there just aren't enough qualified people to fill all the positions.
Now, in your opinion, you don't feel like enough progress has been made with the glass ceiling and the equal pay. I have a very funny little take on that, if I can do so share. I know that women are capable of giving birth and men are not. And I don't know if it will ever be equal, because they need something else. Do you know where I'm going with this? And they'll never be able to give birth. So they've got to have their edge somehow. And I think if that 80%, I'm going to spin this in a positive way right now, I am happy to get the 80 cents on the dollar. Okay, and I know that it can be more, and maybe just a little bit more, but really they can't give birth, and it's never going to be equal. Men and women are never going to be completely equal.
Men and women are never going to be completely equal. That's true. And that's a good thing, frankly.
Yes.
We like our men to be the way they are, right?
Right, yes.
But I don't think that is the same as equal pay for equal work. I just don't think that's the same issue. So I'm not willing to settle for 80 cents on the dollar. If I do a job that's worth $1, I want the dollar.
Then we need more women like you.
And everyone,
and less women like me.
Everyone should feel that way, because we really should be paid what we're worth. We should be valued for what we can contribute, and it shouldn't matter what your gender is or any other physical characteristic. If you can do the job, you should get the same pay, period. I don't see the difference there. However, you raise
your answer anyway.
You raise a very good point, because and this happened actually when I entered the workforce in the 70s. Roles changed. Let's look back to World War II, when all of our men, or many of our men, went off to war.
Yeah.
And we've all heard Rosie the Riveter. Women had to go into the factories and build the aircraft and the bombs and whatever else, and the roles changed. But when men came back from war, the women went back into the households and the men got their jobs back.
Yeah.
It's going to be different this time around. And we need to consider what we need to do to help men through this transition too. Frankly, I think it's as big an opportunity for men as it is for women.
Oh.
I think men get cheated when it comes to family life. They're gone from the house longer. They don't get the opportunity to spend their time, as much time with their kids as maybe they'd like to.
Yep.
And there isn't any reason why the roles can't shift in such a way that everybody gets satisfied and everybody gets what they need. I was very fortunate. I was married to a wonderful man who was raised by a single mom way back when.
Yep.
And all the kids, there were 7 of them, had to help around the house. So he was accustomed to a working mother, working woman, and being responsible for some of the household duties. And we worked very well together. We had an amazing schedule and situation where everybody got what they wanted. Kids, us, him and I, we both had very satisfying careers, and it worked. So all it takes is a little bit of sort of reorganization of the roles, and the understanding by women that you don't just go out of the house and go to work and then forget about men. They need to understand where they're going to fit in this new way of doing things too, and their feelings, their needs, that has to be accounted for just as much as women. So this isn't a feminist thing I'm doing, not that there's anything wrong with that, but this is just about preparing people to fill the roles that are going to become vacant. And there's no shortage of qualified men typically, but there is usually a shortage of qualified women. Now, having said that, if there are any men that want to enroll in Women's Leadership U, we'd love to have them.
Oh, nice.
Because, again, this is about getting some advanced business skills and some leadership characteristics. And if you're not in a situation where you can obtain that where you work or through whatever you're doing, schooling or what have you, then, this may be for them too.
Yeah. Now, the opportunities are really in life are only there if you recognize them and seize them and take action. So let's talk about that a little bit. These opportunities are going to be there for women. Who really is the program for? It's not for the woman who's already a significant leader in her community. Is that right?
Probably not.
Okay.
It's really for the woman who is aspiring to a management position or looking to elevate their career. They have some vision for a bigger mission than they're able to accomplish in life. And it doesn't really make any difference whether you want to be active in the PTA and a leader there, or in your community, town politics or national politics, or whether you want to do something to help change things in the world of academia. Our school systems need help. We need leaders
PTA,
all over,
anywhere.
everywhere. So it really doesn't make any difference. If it's, again, it's about getting some skills that you can use to do a variety of things in life to make a difference. And some of the people that we talk to about the program just simply want to earn more money. They want to get a better job. They want to get a promotion. Some want to start their own businesses. Some want to go into politics. Some want to make a difference in the world, whatever that means to them. It's all the same skill set.
And how important do you believe it is to really make an impact on society? Because we really need to step up, right?
Well, we all make an impact every single minute.
Regardless of what we're
every
doing.
day. So the question to ask yourself is, what kind of an impact do you want to make?
What kind of an impact?
And I'll tell you a funny story. I have a number of cookie recipes from my grandmother that date back to who knows when. The recipes are actually comical when you read them because they talk about the old tools they used to do things, and it's, you know, nowhere in there is there an electric mixer or anything like that. But
or Crisco. What was that? Shortening.
Yeah,
Oh, shortening.
But I shared one of those recipes way back when I first started working with some of the women I worked with in the office. And it became a favorite recipe of everybody's. Well, here, you know, roll the calendar forward like 30 years, even a little longer, and I have a client, and my client has that recipe, and she knows it came from me. She actually knows the person that I worked with, that I gave the recipe to.
Wow.
So now that's just a silly little example of the kind of reach and impact everybody has in the world. So everything you do is impactful.
Yeah.
What kind of an impact do you want to make? Do you want to make a negative impact?
Yeah.
Do you want to make a positive impact?
How do you want to show up in the world?
How do you want to show up in the world?
How do you want to show up? How do you want to leave your stamp on the planet?
Exactly.
This is what it's about.
Exactly right. I mean, you know, if you want to look at it in a spiritual way, you know, we're all put here to shine our light, whatever that is. And unfortunately, there are lots of things going on in the world that are upsetting and negative, and there's anger and war, and, you know, people are suffering and all of that.
Yeah.
And we see that in our living rooms like every night on the news. It's very hard to stay positive and be, but
it can be hard.
But you have to push through that.
And we need to balance it out.
And we need to balance it out.
Yeah, we've got to balance out the negativity that's happening in the world with really great insight and positivity.
Right, the kind of positivity that gets things done, whether it's small little things or whether it shows up on the news some night, because we all know we could use a little more good news.
Now, why do you believe that everyone really should become leaders?
Well, you're leader of your own life, whether you like it or not. And life happens to you based on the choices that you make.
Yeah.
So if you choose wisely, good things will happen to you. If you don't choose wisely, and again, my book is all about values-based choices. If you don't choose wisely, then what can happen is you can end up with a life you're not terribly happy with. And the thing I think most people don't realize is that not choosing is a choice.
Yes.
If you don't choose, you've then said, well, I'm going to settle for whatever I get. And, you know, I think people should get out there and get what they want. Define what that is, which I think is one problem, but after you decide what you want, you can have anything you want if you're willing to work hard enough for it and you want it badly enough.
Yeah.
So there isn't any reason why we all can't have the life of our dreams.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we're going to take another brief moment, and we'll be right back with Nancy OKeefe, and she's the founder of Women's Leadership U. We are back with Powerful Women Revealed. I'm your host, Nicole Perry, and my guest is Nancy OKeefe, and she is the founder of Women's Leadership U, U for University, or the letter U, and she's also the founder of SimpleSmallBusinessSolutions.com. So if you have any interest, you can go there for more information. And she's the also a writer and author for the book called Values-Based Choices. And in the book that you just recently wrote, you believe that small business owners will salvage the American dream. Tell me about that.
Well, it's no secret that we've lost a lot of the middle class, and we've had a few rough years, although we're rebounding nicely now. And I just think there are a lot of changes that need to be made. We are going through life with blinders on, and as I mentioned in the book, I raise a lot of questions about, why do we just accept the status quo? We should be questioning things and looking for ways to improve things and make the world and our country a better place. And one of the things that we need to examine very closely is the American dream, because it's beginning to slip away. We're beginning to see situations where you can't come here necessarily on a shoestring and start a business and, have the dream in your pocket. It just, a lot of people aren't buying homes anymore. They've lost their home in the bad economic times we had a few years ago. So we need small business owners to do what they can to help shore up American business and American dream. The premise in the book is that there's a lot of what's in it for me leaders out in the world. And we've gotten away from our values. We've gotten away from the things that are very important. So if we aren't doing business in accordance with our values and we're not aligned with what we believe to be important, where are we going? What road are we heading down? It's a pretty scary one if you look at it.
I know. And I know that I just had an interview with Mamek, and she talks about being in alignment with your core values, and when you are, you can stand in your value and you can make a difference in the world.
Yes, you can.
Right? When you stand in what you believe in.
And you're firmly planted so that you can withstand the threats that come your way and ward off the obstacles and it's just an amazing thing to be really grounded in your value system. But in my opinion, the changes that need to be made are not going to happen because the government did it. It's not going to happen because corporations do it. They're both too big, and they don't, it's like turning the Titanic to miss the iceberg. They're big, monolithic, it's just not going to happen
that quickly.
Right, but in small businesses, because I do work in small businesses, and small business owners are passionate. They're committed. They want to make improvements. They want things to be better. They will make change, and they will usher new things into their organization if it makes things better. And they make up the majority of the corporations in this country are small businesses.
Small business.
Now the definition of that is a little, sometimes it's up to 500 employees in my opinion. That isn't a small business, but they do a lot of the hiring and so on in this country, and they can turn on a dime. They're smaller, they're flexible, they're nimble. So they're the ones we have to look to create the jobs and do the things that's necessary, make the products, put the quality back in them, do the things that are necessary to turn our economy around for good, not just temporarily.
And it is, one person can make a difference. You talk in your book about Rosa Parks.
Yes.
One person can make a difference, and collectively, as all small business owners, if we all just keep taking those strides towards that positive direction, it will make a shift. That's your point, right?
Yes. And it doesn't have to be violent, and it doesn't have to be coming from a place of anger, and they can be very small little incremental changes that we make. Everything makes a difference. Everything makes a difference.
Now, what's important about looking at, things in the big picture? Why is that important?
Well, when all you're focused on is your own selfish needs, I mean, we all like, to take care of ourselves, but you have to figure how things are going to impact the bigger picture. When I had one of my companies, I had 50 employees, and I did not take any decision I made lightly because I knew it was going to impact 50 families. That was a heavy burden to bear. And, I think more of our leaders, in the past we've had political leaders who refuse to talk to one another to try and even work on the problems. Meanwhile, people are losing their homes, and they're losing their jobs, and their benefits are being cut. Where are they going to get their next meal from? I mean, you have to look at the whole picture. The world is a holistic entity. It's not something that you can just isolate little parts of. Anything that happens on the other side of the world is going to impact us somehow. So you have to keep that in mind.
And it's not even just looking at small things versus the big picture. It's what you call the short-term thinking versus the long-term thinking. So what are your thoughts on that as far as the you really need to think not just big picture, but long term. Right? As far as your business.
As far as life
and
is
how
concerned,
you're impacting the world.
I mean, when you think about it, we live in a very difficult society. We live in this 24/7 instantaneous society where everything has to happen right now. Most of the people that you see in the world are doing this. They're not even conscious about what's going on around them. There's, a need to really reconnect with people on a human level. There's a need to, be in a position to really understand, and there's that compassion and that understanding again that we need. We've lost touch with each other, really. I mean, we have social media, we have email, we have all this great stuff.
It's a disconnect.
But it's a disconnect, it really is.
Yes, it's a disconnect.
And we don't have any think time, plan time. We don't have any time to just be and spend time with our families or whatever we do to de-stress. We're all so stressed out. And then we're, attached to these devices, doing everything for the immediate short-term gain. Nothing really thinking about the long term. I need it today. That's where the credit problem comes from. I need it today. I need to buy it today. I'm going to date myself again, but when I was first married, if you didn't have the money, you didn't buy it. You saved. You saved up for it.
And I'm a part of that bad generation that it's I'd like to have it today and I'll just put it on my credit card. And now I'm shifting myself into that world of debit only because I don't want, it's bad energy. It's things that we've paid for years ago, and we've got this. It's a reasonable amount of debt, but we're knocking it down. But I feel like it's bad energy.
Well, I think it is when it's to the excess. I mean, credit can be a very good thing. Most of us can't buy a home without credit. We can't buy a car without credit. You can't rent a car on a vacation without credit. So credit has its place.
It does have value.
But when you're just buying without any thought as to how you're going to pay for it, and all you're looking at is, can I make the monthly payment? Then you're getting yourself in trouble, and that's just not...
It's not good.
No.
It's not good. So tell me, how will you teach women to stretch out of their comfort zones and really take more risks and live more fully without the negativity things that come along with taking risks and feeling more alive?
Well, taking risks can be fun.
Yes.
It really can. And we have our ways to make things fun. So there'll be so many exercises and experiences. Every participant in the program will have to do a project. The program lasts for 6 months. They'll work on a project almost the entire time. And that project will help to develop their leadership skills and help them master things and then show how they've been able to accomplish it.
So they'll actually come out of the program with something substantial that they can utilize. I love that.
And there'll be one live event at the end of the program, kind of a graduation, if you will. But we hope to have business leaders, hiring managers, recruiters, angel investors, just a whole bunch of people with money and opportunity in the audience that these women can get up on the stage and present their project. So hopefully it's talent meets opportunity, and you know what they say. So if we can provide a forum where people that are looking for good talent can find it, and people that are looking for opportunity can meet up with those that have it, I think that's a match made in heaven. So that's what the culmination of the program will be for the participants.
Now, how long is the program again?
6 months.
6 months, and it's starting in January.
It's starting the end of January. Yes, and it'll be run every January and every September. And we're very excited to be offering this because I just think there's a lot of untapped talent. When I had my other company, as you mentioned earlier in the program, that I hired a lot of moms. Yes. And
working mothers that were working out of their homes. And you were affording them with all these great opportunities and jobs.
Absolutely. And they were women that were in the workforce, had skills, had good work experience, and they had made a conscious decision to stay home and raise their children for some number of years. And we were able to get very skilled labor to do really skilled jobs at good pay with paid insurance, paid vacation benefits, all the perks they would have gotten had they commuted to work. And it was a real win-win situation for everybody. And that's basically the same flavor of what we're trying to create here with that event, that we really create a win-win for everybody.
Now, are both because September, you don't have that's not the half-year point, so is September still going to be a 6-month program?
Yeah, it'll start up again in September, so it'll run it twice a year.
Okay, I know, but September, October, November, December, so it'll go September through February.
Through the beginning of February.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so I have to ask you this. Who do you turn to for business advice?
Well, I work with a number of...
And what leaders inspire you? I want to know what leaders inspire you.
I work with a number of coaches. Every coach needs a coach. I have 4 or 5 coaches. So
that you work with?
That I work with.
That help you?
Absolutely.
Oh
yeah.
my God. Yeah. I do too, actually.
Yeah.
You're one of my coaches, so there you go.
Nobody can do it alone. And
exactly.
You need a fresh perspective. You need other sets of eyes on things. You just need that help, that support, that learning.
Mm-hmm.
And leaders that I really look to, I think we've had some really great leaders throughout our history. The obvious ones, Martin Luther King and JFK and all of those. But I look at women that I've worked with in organizations, and I look at their leadership capabilities, and those are the women that inspired me. The few that made it to the top, and were still women.
Yes.
They still had their personalities intact, and
they didn't start acting like men, thinking that all of a sudden I'm in this role, I've got to act like a man now, because we don't want that either.
Right. No.
Yeah, unless that's who you are.
We want to be our authentic selves, right? This past a few weeks ago, actually, early December, I went to the Mass Women's Conference again.
And I was there as well.
Hillary,
got my mug.
Yeah, Hillary Rodham Clinton was the keynote speaker, and she, of course, is a wonderful example of a strong female leader, someone who is feminine and who has all the attributes of she's a mother, she's a wife, but yet she's a very strong and powerful leader. Secretary of State dealing with all kinds of issues all over the world. That's a good example.
And really working in an environment that she's surrounded by men.
By men, yeah.
And now she's a grandmother.
Yes, isn't that great? Yeah.
It's wonderful. Well, I am delighted to have you here today. We are pretty much out of time. Is there anything, last words that you might want to share?
Well, I just want to say thank you for having me on, first of all, and giving me an opportunity to get the word out, because we really do look at this as a way to give back, a way to build the future of our country, a way to support the American dream by helping women have a role in that rebuilding. So it's exciting to be able to do something like this, and thank you for the opportunity to tell everyone about it.
Well, thank you for being here, Nancy, and I want to thank you for watching today, and we will see you next time. I hope you enjoyed my interview with Nancy OKeefe. She is the founder of Women's Leadership U, Women's Leadership U, the letter U.com if you want more information. She's also the founder of simplesmallbusinesssolutions.com, and she's the author of Values-Based Choices. And Values-Based Choices is really funny. She's got such a great sense of humor, so it's a fun and quick read if you're looking for something that's really going to provoke some interesting thoughts and questions. Women's Leadership U is a program that helps women make their vision a reality, and she is dedicated to helping small business owners achieve that through her executive coaching processes and her executive coaching programs. What I love about Nancy is that she's so strong and open-minded, and she takes action. She has been an extremely powerful supporter of the Powerful Women Revealed program. She's been a really great supporter of me and everything that I stand for. We are very much in alignment with what we both believe in. And she is my business coach, and she has a unique mindset and a way about her being a business owner. She has an incredible way about her. She knows that I want to be the best business person that I can be, and her intention is really to help me achieve what I want to achieve. So, she's not forcing her opinions on me. She just really is there. She's got my back. She's supportive and helpful, and I love that about her. She sees my vision, and she helps me stay focused throughout our relationship for the past, almost 2 years. She has slapped my hand on occasion and said, no, Nicole, you can't do it that way. That's not the way you run a business. So she doesn't tell me what to do, but she does keep me on the right track. And I really am who I am today, in part by what I've learned from Nancy, what I've learned from her programs, and what I've learned from her being a coach. And so I hope you will tune in next Tuesday at 7 p.m. for another Powerful Women Revealed program. Have a great week, and remember, knowledge is power.